Hi, this is Dante Bosco, and you're listening to Mouthful of Toast podcast.
Hey Toasters, welcome to the next episode of Mouthful of Toast.
We're at number 4 already.
4. Oh, what a great number.
Magic number 4. Yeah, I think that's a saying. Yeah.
So
I'll believe it.
Yeah, we have our Toast hosts here. Me, Tim, hello. And we have Carrie.
Hello.
And we have Ian over Skype.
Hello.
So guys, it's been another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
it has.
What have you guys been up to?
So much anime.
That makes one of us,
I've been watching, I've been still trying to finish Digimon Tamers.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time. I never realized, Tamers sort of slugs along in the middle for a while.
Ooh.
And then it picks back up again at the end.
Oh.
I started Yaomushi Pedal because you've been, really excited about it on Twitter.
Yo, let me be real for a second.
Hype about it.
I'm in the 9th level of bike hell. I marathoned all 10 episodes on Saturday just to catch up to the anime because the second season's coming up actually in October.
Oh God.
Yeah. And I went.
He's ready.
I went hard, and then I caught up on the manga. Mm-hmm. And half 100 chapters aren't translated yet, so I'm just sitting here bikes. so that's what I've been up to.
Sounds
You're
like
gonna set up
the
a
perfect
stationary
excuse
bike
to learn Japanese.
and then bike while you read bikes while watching bikes.
I'm gonna just bike while I learn Japanese to continue bikes. Like Ian was saying, yeah, Japanese. I gotta learn it. I gotta absorb it now.
You gotta learn it. There are 100 chapters, so that's great studying material.
Yeah, it's worth it. I think it's worth it. What about you, Ian?
Man, I have just been so goddamn busy. Last 2 weeks have been work, rehearsal, work, rehearsal, work, slur, rehearsal. Not much sleep, and then my show opened, and I'm starting to get a little bit of time back, but now that's going to the podcast, so you guys better be grateful.
Oh,
I'm talking to both my hosts and to the audience. You all better be grateful. God damn.
I'm grateful enough for all of them as well, so
Okay.
don't worry.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, not much. I'm sure I'll have a better, more interesting answer next time we record.
Oh, for sure. But it sounds like our audience actually is pretty grateful because we got 2 more 5-star reviews.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Speaking of episode 4, how about some 5-star reviews?
You're stretching.
Well,
Damn.
goodbye, Ian.
Well,
Just cancel this Skype call right now.
Delete. Unfriend.
yeah, well, I suppose we just gotta start off the episode by tooting our own horns, if you let us. But we do have some wonderful 5-star reviews to read. I'm going to read off the first one by SportsGeek42, who I have had some nice Twitter conversations with. The things I feel that make a podcast great are all here. First, these people know their anime. Not just shows, but studios and people. And they know them well enough to make jokes about them. Second, they have a rapport together. The hosts know how to play off of each other to keep the show entertaining, even though episodes run longer than 90 minutes. Most importantly, though, they have a passion. Whether it is anime, cosplay, or conventions, their passion for what they are talking about comes through and keeps the listener engaged. It's a podcast that I enjoy, even if I do not agree with their opinions. And to find my opinions on anime, you can find my blog at 3episodetest.com. That's the number 3 and then episodetest.com. I watch every new show and write a short review on it, with each show graded on a pass-fail basis. There are also reviews in my current project of catching up on the new Hunter x Hunter series.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to check that out.
Excellent. Well, thank you to Sports Geek. And if Sports Geek is actually a sports geek, I too am a sports geek. So maybe I should.
So much in common.
He's a good guy. Yes. Even though he doesn't agree with us, which is, that's odd. An odd choice of things to do.
We have the best opinions.
Yeah, right? We're infallible.
Cool. So we've got another quick 5-star review, which is so much to learn. 5 stars by Alpha Superior 17, who says, I'm not really into anime, but I am trying to get into it. But this is a great podcast for breaking into the genre, and I am looking forward to see what's in store for the future. Keep up the great work, and I'll be listening. So thank you to Alpha Superior as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I really wanted this podcast to be like, hey, we got stuff for the veterans, but we got stuff for the newbies as well.
Yes.
So keep listening, and hopefully we'll give you a lot of good recommendations, so you're not like, this is the anime shit they wanted me to watch? Like, what the hell? Don't start with, like, Yaoimushi Pedal. Like, try...
Digimon.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
I mean, that was one of my first anime when I was 12.
Hey.
But yeah, hey, we're all watching the same things, and we all just want to spread that love around. So, and thank you very much for these 5-star reviews.
Keep
it
them
helps
coming
keep
in.
our egos healthy.
Yes.
So we don't cry when we record the episode.
Yes, please
We only cry beforehand.
submit your 5-star reviews through iTunes. Again, we will plug your podcast, your website, Twitter, Facebook, etc., and we'll read them on the show. So, hey,
We'll read whatever you put there.
just try not to be, like, racist.
Please.
Just try not to. We know you are, but try not to.
Deep down, we know. But yeah, we, so other than that,
Yeah.
we have some news stories.
Yes.
Some fresh news.
Gosh.
Let's see. An Attack on Titan editor, one of the dudes working with the mangaka, says that the Attack on Titan manga is going to end in 3 to 4 years.
I'm actually really glad for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Because my favorite series all have a starting point and then a concrete end point. Like, they knew where this was going to end when they started. And that's what my first impressions of Attack on Titan were. And then I was like, wait a sec. This is like super popular shonen stuff. This is going to run for 12 years and they still won't figure out the secrets of the Titans. So for an editor to come out and just be like, hey, we have an ending in mind. It's going to end in 3.5, 4 years. So good.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because following the manga right now, I see like where they're at right now, and there's a lot of mysteries still left, but once those mysteries are solved, I don't want them like stretching along with like weird filler shit. Like I don't want like, well, the Titans are back. We got rid of them, but they're back.
Right. No, I also like the
But
fact...
now they walk backwards now.
Oh!
Whoa.
I also like the fact that, you know, they have the side stories, but they keep them in separate mangas,
Oh,
basically.
yeah, very much just spin-offs.
Yeah,
their own
but
thing.
Before the
Actual
Fall
spin-offs.
and No Regrets, and so, no. Awesome.
As much as I love One Piece going on forever, no more of that. I can only keep up with like 1 or 2 of the series at a time.
Right.
So this is good news.
Like, one of my favorite things about Attack on Titan is, just like, there are lots of mysteries, but I think that every time that he's brought out another, like, answer to a mystery has always felt really satisfying. Like, it's always felt like it came on schedule.
Yeah.
And so, like, just knowing that, they are planning an end eventually, like, that gives me a lot of hope that the rest of the manga and the rest of the series will just stay fresh and feel not overdone, just the whole run of it. Like, I want it to stay strong and just taut the entire way through.
Yeah. I think this will probably lead to a second anime season announcement pretty soon, I bet. They'll probably feel a lot more confident about doing it because it's like, well, we don't have to do like 800 seasons now, so
Right.
let's do it.
Yeah,
I also like
yeah.
the quote in this article, this guy saying, the serialization is slated to end in 3 or 4 years, but Attack on Titan is a work that will be passed down from generation to generation for a decade. No, 5 decades. So this guy is like, people are going to be reading this shit for the next 50 fucking years. Attack on Titan is so good, it's going to be just as popular 50 years from now.
Then after that, forgotten entirely.
Yes. And then-
Yeah, suppose so.
Welp.
All right, so
Oh, wow.
speaking of manga,
And forgotten entirely.
oh boy, Clamp. Clamp is
Exactly.
launching a new Tsubasa manga. Actually, it shipped last week, so like that just started.
Tsubasa.
Yeah,
Tsubasa, I
Tsubasa.
guess.
Tsubasa was massively popular
Yeah.
for Clamp. It was like a really big success for them alongside XXX Holic. And of course, the new Tsubasa will also be connected to XXX Holic Ray. And Look, I like Clamp. I think Clamp makes really pretty art. I am not so convinced of their storytelling as of recently. You know, for me, Clamp really dropped off after Chobits. I think Chobits was the last Clamp series where I was like 100% on board the whole way through.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's funny, actually, a few of my friends have gotten back like deep into Clamp,
Oh,
and
boy.
they dug out Tokyo Babylon and been like really hype about that
Yeah,
recently.
but like old Clamp
Tokyo
is
Babylon.
really good.
Yeah.
Like Tokyo Babylon, Magic Knight, Ray Earth, I
Yes.
guess was Clamp too.
Ray Earth, yes.
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Cardcaptor Sakura, Angelic Layers, I think my favorite Clamp series. Chobits was.
Bible Black.
I liked Chobits a lot. I know people have a lot of problems with Chobits.
Yes.
It's
We
like
can talk later.
fuck bots, the manga.
Right.
Like, so, but I mean, Clamp has been around forever. Clamp will be around forever. People still get excited about Clamp stuff. If
Clamp's
you're,
eternal, yeah.
yeah, like if you're excited about Tsubasa, like please visit our Facebook page and explain to me why, because I do not understand why people are excited about it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Like Tsubasa, I think I read like the first 2 volumes of the original manga when that came out. Like I don't know when, ages
Like
ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like it does involve jumping through multiple universes and ending up in their other series, right? Like
Yes and no.
that's a thing, right?
So-
oh, okay.
Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle, like they go through different universes, that's correct, and they encounter alternate universe versions of other Clamp characters like Chi and stuff like
okay, I
that.
see.
Because
Oh.
like the main characters of Tsubasa are Sakura and Sayaren, and it's just like, well, those are the card captor guys, but they're not card captors.
It's just alt universe
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, everything is alternate universe, everything.
So this new Tsubasa is going to be alternate universe of all of their works ever, and they're going to run into like, what about
God.
Kogias people?
Code Geass characters in another universe. Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like an excuse to make canon fanfic, which I guess, people can be reasonably excited about, I
Yeah.
suppose.
I mean, again, I've always really liked Clamp's art. It looks good art-wise. I just like the story just became so difficult to follow.
When they get the proportions right, things are good.
yeah.
They run away and they don't catch them again. They're like, no, come back, fingers. We stretch into the distance, but otherwise, it's pretty solid. They've been doing their thing for a while, so good on them for doing new things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, or continuing to do old things that have made them a lot of money.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
can't fault them for that.
No. All right. So,
next up, I guess, some more interesting news for Ghibli.
Gotta
I
love
guess
that
we're just
Ghibli.
going to keep on mentioning Ghibli every single episode because it's a thing we have to do.
Yeah.
Check under the table. There should be some money there, I think. But yes, Studio Ghibli co-founder Toshio Suzuki pointed to Hideaki Anno, known most famously for the guy who created Neon Genesis Evangelion, as the new face of anime in the future, like the person who will change anime next. The headline that Crunchyroll used the term "next Miyazaki." So, I mean,
I do
don't
not
know.
accept this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, but like not for reasons that people would think. I guess like I think that Anno is a very talented guy, like worth discussing, worth celebrating. That's for sure. But I'm not a fan of what everyone seems to be doing, which is who's the next Miyazaki? Who is going to be the next one name that we're just going to keep on echoing through anime forever and ever and ever until he moves on, and then we find one sole person to talk about again and again, and only that person. Like, I think that's so reductive.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, the Ghibli co-founder, took the pains to really, make Anno a centerpiece of this film festival and everything. Like, it seems to me that it's all, patting backs and kind of just shirking back. Like, there's not really much innovation I see from this, like, sense of where anime is going to head to next.
Right.
I want some fresh faces. Like, there's lots of great artists that are working in anime right now. There's lots of great directors that are making their mark.
Well, the other thing
I mean,
is I feel as though the people at Ghibli are maybe more inclined to point to Anno, because Anno has done work with Ghibli before as an animator. Like, he worked with them on Nausicaa. He worked with them on Grave of the Fireflies. So, you know, maybe that's just them being a little buddy-buddy about it in public. I mean, Anno's a great director. I don't like all of his stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like, Evangelion sucks, like, just because I don't really care for it that much.
The thing with me, I think Ian and I were talking on Twitter about this, actually. I'm frustrated with this because it clearly just seems like ass-patting on the part of the co-head, because he's just like, me and Anno were buddies, so he just voiced my movie.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
He was literally the lead voice actor and said, like, and if you actually look for his, like, recent anime work...
He voiced the main character in The Wind Rises. Like,
if you look at the Wikipedia article on Anno, you will see a section dedicated to Evangelion, and then you'll have a subsequent work section that is very sparse.
Yeah.
That is like, he's done a few things. He was the voice for this, and he's like contributed some animation for various things.
I mean, if he's gonna like get his ass in gear and start cranking out stuff and like start doing movies and like really serious storytelling again, like, that's one thing. And then maybe we'll be like, here's the guy who is maybe going to try and fill the void that is left by Miyazaki not directing anymore. But like, I still don't think it's fair for anybody to be like, oh, he's the next Miyazaki.
You're right.
Yeah, like, that's also a weird thing.
They're itching to have someone fill those shoes. They're just like, we need someone to fill that spot.
It hasn't even been like,
and also, like,
a year yet. Like,
yeah, no.
Christ.
But no. You know, we gotta have the next Miyazaki, next one. But, like, also, like, that's just so back ass where it's like, just, like, that's not how art's made. You don't go and name someone to be the next great thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone's going to do that work, and then you go, oh, wait, okay, he did work that proves it. And, like, yeah, Anno's done work already, but, like, when it comes to future of anime, like, I think we can be a little patient.
Yeah.
And just, like, wait what art comes out in the next few years.
I think he was just basically saying, keep your eyes on Anno, because he's going to be doing some crazy shit coming up. And
I would love to see Anno do more stuff.
I would love to, because Evangelion was produced from a very dark place. If you actually look at the story behind why he made it, he was a very depressed man at the time.
Right.
And that series came out of, like, really dark feelings. And I'd like to see him creating at his peak, when he feels good about himself and he's actually partnering with a bunch of different people and, like, getting his own studio going. Like, I want to see it.
Right.
I just, where's the proof?
Yeah.
Where's the recent, you know, work that's been like, this is why he's going to be the next Miyazaki. I just need a little more.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Yep. Cool.
Keep your eyes on Anno.
From major studios to the minorest of minor studios. So this article, you can click on it and look at the trailer. Doujin circles exist, and some of them produce very high quality work.
Well,
And
Carrie, what's a doujin?
what is a doujin? Self-published.
Okay.
So anything that's self-published could really be considered doujin.
Golly gee.
Yay.
So this in particular is a anime based off of the Toho series of games. Now, Toho is a series of bullet hell games made by one very drunk Japanese man named Zune. And Toho is incredibly popular, but very little official things exist beyond the games, a couple of soundtracks, and a couple of books that Zune has helped produce.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of manga that Zune is sort of marked as like, this is official and I am good with this.
Right.
But most of it is produced by Doujin Circles. Now, this announcement about the Toho anime is just saying, hey, we're running late and we're really sorry. Because it was supposed to come out at Comic-Con. And the reason why this is in our docket this week is because you guys did a bonus episode with one of your friends, Tim, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Ian and I recorded a bonus episode with my good friend Lindsay, and she talked all about her experience with Comic Cat and explained Dojin Circles and a bunch of different studios and just like her experiences in Japan. So it's a whole. We're actually going to have an episode next week, not in 2 weeks. Isn't that crazy? We're going to have like more content in general.
Yeah.
And this is the first of many bonus episodes I hope to do where I interview people I know and all that. So Lindsay gives a really great breakdown of a lot of different things in Japan. So if you're interested in Comic Cat topics or just Japanese topics in general, it's a great special to check out. So
I was sad I couldn't be there.
I'm sorry.
I had to work. But I am looking forward to listening to that when it releases next week. And maybe sometime I'll have more time to talk about Toho, because I do love Toho very, very much. And there's so many things to talk about Toho. Goodness.
That's another main focused episode, I guess, that we get to
maybe.
mark down.
Yeah, just all about
Digimon, Cowboy
Yes.
Bebop, One Piece, Toho.
My favorite is like I've cosplayed 4 different characters from Toho now, and every
Nice.
time I cosplay from Toho, people are like, "Oh, like that looks so cool. What anime is that from?" And I'm just like, "Sweetheart, back up." Like,
not necessarily.
no, like yeah. So anyway, big announcement, breaking news.
So
We just heard today.
this is breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah. It's
Pew!
Coming down the wire, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
It turns
What's that?
out.
Live from the source?
It turns out Hello Kitty is not a cat. Holy shit. Hello Kitty, that the popular figure by Sanrio. There was an exhibition going
Who
on.
is turning 40 this year?
Yeah,
My
40
God.
years of Hello Kitty. And they're doing a special, and a reporter was taking notes, whatever, and they just, like Hello Kitty, the cat, blah, blah, blah. And then a Sanrio executive came up to them, sternly told them, excuse me, Hello Kitty's not a cat. Hello Kitty is my friend. Hello Kitty is strong. No, Hello Kitty is, here's the actual quote. Hello Kitty is a cartoon character. She is a little girl. She is a friend, but she is not a cat. Like, very sternly. She's never depicted on all fours. She walks and sits like a two-legged creature. She does have a pet cat of her own. However, it's called Charmy Kitty. And Charmy Kitty is literally Hello Kitty's face pasted on a four-legged cat. With a different bow. So...
I don't know, man. This sounds like that GIF thing all over again.
So,
Like, no. Hello Kitty, cat.
According to this spokesperson, her name is Kitty White. She's the daughter of George and Mary White. She has a twin sister. She is a perpetual third grader, so she's, I guess, dumb. She lives.
Carrie, no.
She lives outside of London. I could go on. A lot of people don't know the story, and a lot don't care. But
she's not a cat. That face.
I think the biggest thing to pull away is
She's
that
a furry.
not a cat.
she's just a furry.
Hello Kitty is a third grade human girl who can never progress past third grade, probably because she has a weird cat obsession that dominates her entire life and her entire appearance.
Excuse me, Carrie. It's called Kittykin.
Oh no.
Sanryo-kin.
Oh god. So that just happened today. People are still reeling from it. I think like most of the internet just kind of blew up after I heard this, and it's just I just don't.
So is the penguin not a penguin? Are all of their characters just humans in suits?
Are they in fursuits?
Are they the original furries? Is that it?
Do they get plastic surgery? They make like put whiskers on them?
40
And
years ago. That's true.
I do not understand.
So we found the origin of furries.
It's Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I probably dates back earlier than that actually. That's like Looney Tune shit.
Really?
Uh,
I'm glad you know about this.
I don't want to know. I just assume.
Yep, sure you do.
Yeah, all right.
I've said too much.
Breaking news, Tim is a furry.
No! I swear to God, that's the episode title. It's going to be really bad.
Tune in for our furry episode.
Furry episode coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
All right.
Nothing wrong with being a furry. Anyway,
Nothing.
I don't know if I'd agree with that.
we watched a series. We
We
watched something new.
We did. We watched Barakamon.
Yay.
Yay! It was actually
Yeah.
really cute. So Barakamon follows this guy who's a master calligrapher, and He's living in the city. He's living in Tokyo, and he puts his calligraphy into an exhibition. And some old guy is like, "Oh, this is so simple. Have you climbed the wall of mediocrity yet? This looks like it's
not
out of
some old guy. Remember?
Oh yeah,
it's the director.
It's the director of the
calligraphy,
show,
like,
right?
Yeah.
And so Seishu Honda, who's the main character, he punches this old man who walks with a cane in the mouth in the middle of this exhibition, and that's how the series starts.
Yeah, literally just like 5 seconds in, boom, punch in the face, this old guy, and then he's on an island by himself.
Yeah. So Honda goes to this sort of rural island to sort of cool his head and
Chill out.
yeah,
Try not to punch any old people.
yes,
And he goes there for his art. He's trying to get inspired again, and promptly meets like half the village.
right.
And
Like the whole village is like, we're here to help you move in,
yeah.
and he's like, okay. Like, Tim, I think you said when we were talking off air, like the first episode achieved what many series achieve over the course of an entire series.
Oh yeah. It's literally an entire character arc condensed in like one episode. So yeah, he's like frustrated with his work, and he's told that he's like not like your stuff looks like a textbook. It looks like it's not artistic in any way, whatever. So he goes to this island. He's like, man, I got to figure myself out. I got to get better at people. And this little girl comes up. It's like, hey, let's hang out for the day. Woo! And she's just like this crazy kid, and kid shenanigans happen. And it's cute. It's so non-offensive.
Right.
It's like this whole series is like, there's nothing like, okay, I go like whatever. And then at the end of the episode, he's like, I could create art again. Like, yeah. And he like does a big piece, and he's like, I'm really happy with myself. And like the word says like relief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's like he just did that in a day.
right.
His first day on the island, and he's over his character arc. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian, you had some good thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, like that complaint was like my main, like one of my big complaints. Like I finished the first episode and I was just like, okay, I don't understand how many more episodes of this series left to go, because the first character has been resolved.
Yeah.
He's done. He can go back. He can create art again. And then the second episode just makes an excuse for him to be uninspired again. I mean, it's all right. Like the series is all right. I will admit that for this sort of series, the like kind of sentimental,
It's a slice of life
sort of
series.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for these kind of series, I will admit that I am very possibly a hater. But like it's unfair to compare it to Yotsubato, but it kind of is, just following in the footsteps of Yotsubato, and just like
Which is a great series. It's a hilarious.
I never watched that, yeah.
Yotsuba is
it's not an anime. It's just
It's a
the-
manga.
Oh no, I know what you're
But,
talking about. So
yeah,
with the little girl
Yeah.
who's just hilarious, right? And they're kind of
Because Kiyohiko Azuma is just like so perfect at whimsy and just like pacing slice of life right, I think, and adding enough variety.
yeah.
I don't know, Barakamon, it's all right. It bores me to hell, but I can understand that it's all right. It's totally fine for people who want to watch
Right.
it. I cannot stand it. Like I guess it's also like the basis of it. I'll say that a calligraphy artist is an interesting subject to follow, and there's some good comedy that comes from that.
Yeah.
But it is that rom-com staple of artistic type is in a creative rut and goes to foreign locale and meets all the perfect people that live there. And even if they aren't perfect, they're exactly the people he needs.
Yep.
And so this is that without the romance angle.
Right.
Yet, I guess.
I hope not.
Yeah,
like,
I
he's
don't
only
think-
met like little girls. Like I'm a little scared.
Right, and like all of the women that are like his age, like the nurse in the second episode,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
staunchly defends her marriage and stuff like that.
And he's not even like hitting on her. Or anything.
No.
He's just like, oh god, like don't.
But like his presence, his handsome presence is enough to drive him like,
Yeah.
just like, oh dear. Yeah.
You're too much. But
I really
Like
like.
it's an energetic show. And yeah, it's got jokes and
I
stuff.
really like Naru, who's the little girl.
the little girl, like she's actually voiced by a little girl.
Yeah, I really like the voice acting because like none of it sounds forced or fake, and I think the fact that they actually got like a little girl to voice a little girl, like that earns a lot of points.
It's
for
great.
me.
If they ever bring it to America, if they do a dub, they better get a little girl to do it.
Well, they've licensed the manga,
Okay.
so they're bringing the manga over. I mean, there's only going to be 12 episodes of the anime.
Oh,
So
it's mostly
that's
done.
quick.
There's like 8 episodes out already.
Right. So, it's pretty quick. I mean, the manga only started last year, so this is a pretty quick turnaround for...
Yeah, it must have been huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was cute. I'll probably watch the rest of the anime knowing that there's only going to be 12 episodes, so...
Yeah, it's cute, but I think each episode's going to be like another like really small, really like short-sighted character arc, because like the second episode set that up a bit, because like the son of the village elder comes over and he's like, oh, I got straight average grades again, which like is barely explained. Like there's a lot of things like the subs aren't really catching.
I thought his parents were sort of funny, like, you're destined to be mediocre and that's fine. Like,
His parents are great, but he like just looks at some calligraphy for a second and he's like, oh,
overwhelmed by it, basically.
Yeah, it just changes his whole world.
I don't want to be mediocre anymore. And then like that's his character arc and it's done.
Right.
And he's done. Yep.
And there's no
He's just
mention
resolved.
of her.
Yeah.
So like a lot of, I feel like the sentimentality is kind of forced in
Yeah.
an otherwise strong, cute, humorous show. So
I like the mini character arcs, though.
Yes.
It makes it really easy to digest.
yes, it's very it's like I said, non-offensive.
Yeah.
It's it's cute. Here it is. Turn off your brain. Watch a little kid mess with this grown ass man.
Watch grown-ass man be upset about his calligraphy tools.
I think it's sick a lot.
Yeah. It's like, they were like, you haven't been eating, you haven't been sleeping, you've just been doing calligraphy. What the hell's wrong with you? Like,
No one can understand it.
so, hey,
What's overall verdict?
I'm probably going to keep watching it.
Ian, you're out. You're the hater.
Yeah, I'm absolutely out. Sorry.
I might give it one more episode. It's on Hulu Plus and Funimation's
so-
subscription service, so it's out there. But speaking of subscription services for anime,
Haha.
I would promote Funimation more, but we don't have a deal with them yet.
No,
Yet.
which is
Soon.
unfortunate.
Someday. I don't know.
We'll get on it.
Hint, hint, wink, wink to any Funimation reps listening, which they're not.
Please send us free stuff. We'll review it.
Yeah, it'll be good. Anyway, Crunchyroll. We've mentioned before in earlier shows, if you click the ad on our site, you can sign up for a Crunchyroll membership. It will get a little bit of the dough, and it won't cost you any extra. So make sure to click the ad on the site, and it's like it'll give you a free trial at first. So
Yeah.
you don't even have to pay anything. And then you can be like, look at all this anime, and then you'll want to subscribe anyway.
Yeah.
So
A lot
make
of perks to subscribing, like HD video.
discounts on figures.
Yes. No ads.
No ads is great.
Yeah. So,
And
hey.
huge library. So
Yes.
I really love
And
it.
I also, you get all those fresh episodes of simulcast shows a week before everyone else does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get in there.
Simulcast JoJo's been real good.
That's basically why I subscribed. Like,
Yeah.
I can watch JoJo when it comes out. Here's my money.
Right.
All right. So, this week we're talking about different anime studios.
Yes.
So, our question of the week on our facebook.com/mouthful of toast was, we are going to be discussing our favorite series made by Studio Gainax. What is your favorite anime studio and why? So Sam said, I'm guessing gonna have to go with Sunrise since they brought me Tiger and Bunny, good, and also Gundam Wing, boo.
Well, you're editorializing a bit right here for Sam's response.
There was no boo in there.
There was no boo. No, I agree, boo.
Lindsay, be
Jesus
very
Christ.
upset to hear about your Tiger and Bunny hating. So,
I'm fine with Tiger and Bunny.
No,
okay, you're just hating on
I'm
Gundam
not,
Wing.
Gundam Wing
not
part.
okay with Gundam Wing.
Got it. Okay.
We should have a Gundam
That's
Wing
boy
episode,
band
though.
Gundam.
We're going to have a Gundam episode at some point.
Yes.
We're just going to talk about G Gundam.
We're going to talk about G Gundam all the
Yep.
time.
It's the whole
Yeah.
episode. But
Carrie just went deathly quiet.
squash dreams right there.
I'm gonna leave. You're gonna hear a door slam, and that's gonna be it. I'm never coming back.
Car squeals away. You hear the Gundam theme in the car.
Kido Senshi Gundamu.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay, next review. I really want to read this one. So Jan's favorite studio is probably not alone here, but Natural High is tops and bottoms.
Jan is no longer allowed to comment on the question of the bye week.
For those who don't know, Natural High is the studio that did the anime Boku no Pico.
Oh.
Don't look up Boku no Pico at work.
Don't look up Boku no Pico ever.
Yeah. Well, there's a great video. It's like, yo, I watched a series called Boku no Pico, and yeah, that was my yeah. It's little boys and bad touch.
Bad touch. Real bad touch.
Jan's real answer is, though, but really, A1 Pictures always pumps out quality, even in the source material it might not be that good, which is a fair assessment, I'd say. You guys familiar with A1?
Well, they're doing I'll Know Zero this season.
Okay.
And otherwise, I don't know. I'm not really that familiar with them.
A1 sort of came
new.
out of Sunrise.
Like a spinoff?
They've done Fairy Tale
All right.
and
Okay.
Blue Exorcist,
Okay.
Anohana.
Gotcha.
So they've done some big stuff.
They've done some things.
Some stuff on things. Sword Art Online too.
Sorry, Jan. Your favorite studio
jeez.
sent us into like seizures.
Angry convulsions.
Oh,
Man.
all right.
I'm gonna read my friend William made a really nice long comment, but I'll pick up bits from it. First one that comes to mind is Bones. My favorites from them are Oran and FMA Brotherhood, which, yeah, Bones has always been a reasonably good studio to follow.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely most famous for Cowboy Bebop. Love them for that. Another one I see purely by volume is Production IG, which is definitely one that we'll have to talk about at some point, just because they are around a lot.
Yeah.
And, it's important that smaller studios that are impressive are Studio Trigger and Kyoto Animation or KyoAni. KyoAni is probably more infamous for their cutesy moe series like Kanon, The Birth of Ugu, Lucky Star, and K-On!, but they've also proven to do some very outside-the-box stuff with Haruhi and Nichijou. Yeah. And I feel like at some point we just got to have an episode about moe as well.
Moe.
I think we might have to just merge that into like the fan service episode.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair.
Moe
Are
is
they the
definitely.
same?
I would say moe is a form of fan service.
It is. It absolutely is.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel you guys on that. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's calculating a character design to be perfectly accepted as cute. Yeah.
it is mathematical. It is like
Quite fan servicey.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the perfect rectangle. Just the golden rotation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay said, not producer Jay, who doesn't watch anime because he's a loser.
Wow.
Loser.
Jay said, I'm going to have to go with JC staff. They've put out a lot of stuff I enjoy, always seem to do quality work, aside from a great animation style. The anime they put out always have a great story, and everything I've watched from them has been fun and enjoyable. Golden Time, Toradora, Certain Scientific Railgun, Familiar of Zero, all ranked among his favorite anime. Now, JC Staff produced my number one all-time favorite anime, which is Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Oh, a little bit of bias there.
So honestly, I haven't watched much else of stuff that JC Staff has done. They also did Slayers. His and Her Circumstances.
They're very big back in the day. Yeah,
they were. They were
lots of
like
historical relevance.
they had a run in the late '90s of.
Excel Saga is another big
Yep.
one from them.
Yep. So like from '95 through 2000, they did Slayers, Slayers Next, Slayers Try, Revolutionary Girl Utena, His and Her Circumstances, and Excel Saga. So like.
Wow.
Yeah, they were. They
were big.
They had a good few years. More recently, they've done.
Well, I mean, A Certain Scientific Railgun is pretty big.
Yeah.
In some circles. Yeah.
And then they've done
That's
Witchcraft Works.
Big franchise.
So,
Cool.
yep. They also did Bakuman,
Ooh, I like
So-
that series.
or at least they did season 3 of Bakuman.
I
No,
understood that reference.
They did all of it. So
Good.
no,
good.
but Utena 5 ever. I'm
Nice.
just gonna sit here in my Utena feelings.
Colin says, I don't really pay much attention to studios, but after a quick wiki search, Madhouse is responsible for a lot of my favorite series. Hunter x Hunter, Princess Resurrection, the Supernatural... Hold on. What? There's a Supernatural anime by Madhouse?
Yeah, I
Shocking.
think there is.
What?
Though I think they put their B team on it.
Ugh.
To be honest. For what it's worth, Madhouse is still very respected just because their work with Satoshi Kon.
Oh yeah,
They're the studio that made his Visions real. Yeah.
they have a huge backlog. I don't even want to get into it. It's tons of stuff. So
They're a huge studio.
they know
for
what
sure.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Ian, you see any more you want to read?
Have we? Did we read all of them? No.
No,
There's
we
lots.
missed Cody's.
Oh, okay. Cody says, I don't really know much about studios, but I suppose I have to say Studio Comet, since I had a hand in two of my favorite anime of all time, Initial D and Capita, both of which are about racing.
No, are they?
Which I can't say that I have watched many racing anime, but I mean, Initial D...
Initial D
has
is the
a higher respect level that I
racing
give
anime.
It, yeah.
It has drifting, multi-track.
To track.
Yeah, it's got that.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, that shows that it at least has a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not huge. They've done some other stuff. They did the Dragon Quest television show. They did Kirby,
The Kirby cartoon.
yeah, they did Kirby Right Back at You.
That show's kind of messed up.
A little bit.
King DDD cuts down the tree in a vicious way.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
So
The tree with a face, I should mention.
yeah, the Kirby tree.
Yeah, he cuts it down in cold blood. I don't know why I thought of that. And Sam also, there's another Sam says, really enjoy the stuff Bones puts out. Token style is really lovely and animation's always fantastic, but they can be really off the wall, as you've seen recently with Space Dandy. Space Dandy. And they have a bunch of guest animators in Space Dandy who are given a lot of artistic freedom, which I've noticed, and it's really cool.
It is really cool. Yeah.
Definitely worth keeping up with Bones.
Yeah.
And I've never really paid attention to which studio made what. Thank you, John Weasley.
That's fine. Generally speaking,
All right.
I don't pay attention to what studio made what unless it is Studio Dean, in which case I 100% avoid it. Studio Dean bastardized my two favorite visual novels.
Oh no.
They ruined Higurashi with their super duper quality animation and super duper quality budget.
Ugh.
And then they just took a big dump on Umineko, and I was not really okay with it.
Still dealing with that.
I'm still upset about that, and that's 5 years ago.
Well,
Well, for what it's worth, anime studios tend to have a lot of personality that we associate with their famous works. And I guess, Tim, you want to introduce what studio we're talking about today?
it's funny because our last answer actually cites a series from this studio, but does not actually say that that studio is their favorite. They say Neon Genesis Evangelion is my favorite anime. It would be hard to talk about Gainax without the ups and downs of this production. Why?
Yeah.
It's so vast. It explores the human condition, mecha fights, great characterization, etc. It's funny because we're not really going to be talking a lot about Evangelion, but we are talking about Gainax.
Yes.
We've been kind of talking about this the last few weeks. We've been like, yeah, we want to do a Gainax episode. Basically, studios are worth following sometimes, especially for someone newer to anime. If they like a series, check out what the studio puts out, because a lot of times they put out things of a similar caliber.
Yeah.
Especially in a certain time span. Kyo Ani, all about the fan service. Just recently, they just ventured into males being fan service into females. Wow, with free. You can get a kind of feel for what their animators and creators like to do. So if you like one series, there's a good chance you'll like something else from that studio. And our big discussion topic this week is Gainax as a studio, what it means for anime, because Gurren Lagann came back to Toonami, and Kill was huge from Studio Trigger, which broke off of Gainax. And it's kind of a good time to look at what Gainax has produced so far. And, with the people left over at Gainax, what can they do now? A lot of their big creators have moved on to other studios. Even Hideaki Anno, who did Evangelion's done his own stuff. He's got his own studio now. So let's talk about Gainax.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Gainax as a whole? Like, what series stand out to you?
I mean, my favorite Gainax work is Gunbuster. So that's what I watched pre-recording. So Gunbuster, which is like an OVA, it's not a series. It was 6 episodes. And this was also Anno's directorial debut. So that's also huge. So there's some stuff that Gainax has done that I really like Gunbuster. I still need to watch Diebuster. Otaku No Video, FLCL. I like the cutie honey stuff that they did. I love Panty and Stocking. But then there's some stuff that meh.
Well, you've mentioned before that you aren't really that affected by NGE.
No,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. And Ava, I've seen the whole series and I was just like, boy, that sure was a thing. And then I watched End of Ava and I was like, that also was a thing.
That was a thing.
Interesting note about End of Evangelion. There's a few scenes that are shot for shot recreating or referencing the final episode of Utena. So I can respect that, but
I think we can all agree that series has a huge cultural...
It's a massive influence. I understand the influence that Ava has had on anime, on the way mecha shows are treated. There's mecha before Ava, and then there's mecha after Ava.
It turns out you can have mecha with feelings.
Yeah, right? So, no, it definitely, had a massive impact and continues to have an impact.
The new movie's coming out, the rebuild, it's huge. Yeah. But as I was saying earlier with, just kind of with when we're discussing Ano, it really came from a dark place from him, and he actually says he hates what the fans did to that series. He actually despises because he was trying to parody a lot of otaku culture, and he was like, I'm going to give them the characters they don't want, and then I'm going to make the main characters gay, and no one's going to like this. And everyone loved it because he basically I'm sure he was pissed about it. I'm sure he was really mad about it. But from everything I've read, that it was not only a huge budget, there's budget issues all over the place. That's why you got the congratulations episode at the end,
right? Where
they literally just ran out of money and they're like, hey, you made it to the ending. Congrats. We can only animate clapping now. That's all we have left. These huge budget things. Gainax had a lot of financial issues around the time too. There was some embezzlement. That's a thing. Tax evasion. But Evangelion as a series, it is basically death of the author. As you see it, that's how it everything he intended for it and just went out the window, and it became just a whole different thing than he ever expected. So yeah, next time you're hugging your Asuka body pillow, just remember that he hates you.
He hates you, absolutely.
Ano hates you for that.
But I guess we are diverging from the point. Gunbuster. I hear a lot about Gunbuster being where Ano really started coming up with his mecha feeling about mecha shows.
Yeah.
And, that he put a lot of heart into making this series happen and be a thing.
Because
do you know what years it came out?
88.
Okay.
So yeah, Gunbuster, it's called Gunbuster. The names of the mechs are called Gunbusters.
Sure.
But you care about the characters. You care about the pilots more than you care about the action. There's aliens and they're trying to wreck everyone's shit and they got to go to space and defeat the aliens. But then at the same time, there's the rivalry sort of between the pilots and stuff like that. And the Soviet girl whose name is Jung Freud. Because, yeah.
Oh, man.
Just the beginning of Ano's very heavy-handed symbolism.
Yeah,
it's
how can I tell people that I'm very into psychoanalysis? I'm gonna name a character after two psychoanalysts, right? Jung Freud, God damn.
And then
it.
she's naked a lot, right?
There's a lot of nudity in Gunbuster. Actually, there's a lot of tits, but. I mean, I'm not going to go into everything, but at the end of the last episode, they've been in space. They set off this black hole bomb, whatever. They destroy the aliens, whatever, and they travel home. And like there's this time dilation where like it doesn't like it takes them a while to get home, but while they're traveling through space, like 12,000 years have gone by on Earth.
Oh God.
And so like they're coming home to Earth, but they're like, you know, what's going to happen when we get back?
Yeah.
And we don't know if we're going to come back and everything's going to be destroyed. We don't know what kind of society is going to be on Earth. Like we just don't know. And then they come back and like as they're approaching the Earth's atmosphere, it spells out like in lights as that they can see welcome home.
Oh.
And so that's just like it's very satisfying. It's just like you know everything's gonna be okay, which he did not carry over into Ava.
No.
No, I would say so.
That's like every ounce of positivity he had was drained out of that series.
Yeah,
Just
and like there's some dark shit in Gunbuster, and there's some like really serious stuff. But you know,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen Gunbuster and you're a fan of Ava, or if you're a fan of anything Anno's ever done, like sit your ass down and watch Gunbuster.
It's 6 episodes.
Yeah, well, they're
Yeah, like for what it's worth, it's like a brighter, darker show.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always welcome. But like, yeah, these are the series that you don't hear about as much nowadays because, you know, now.
Came out in '88.
We take it for granted, I
Like-
would say.
Yeah.
Like, we take their influence for granted at times, I would say.
Yeah.
Because everyone talks about Ava, so you forget that there was stuff beforehand that
There was
actually-
stuff like Gunbuster definitely had an influence on Ava.
Yeah. It
So
put Gainax on the map. You know, the first series, Ian, you saw Otaku No video, right?
Yes, I did. It wasn't their first series, but it's interesting to talk about. Like, Otaku No Video came out in 1991, and it's about this guy who is in college, and he plays tennis pretty well, and he's got this regular life with, you know, a girlfriend and just regular friends, and just ends up running into one of his high school friends, who was a huge otaku. And it's actually nice. Like, they're like, oh, hey, like, Tanaka, Kubo. And they, like, hang out and they just, like, kind of reconnect. And by reconnecting, Tanaka introduces Kubo to all this anime, manga, otaku stuff. And they form a partnership. And Kubo gets super into it and becomes an otaku himself. And his cry is to be, his dream is to become the Ota King. And in so doing, they create Grand Prix as a company, which makes model kits, DIY model kits, and then eventually make, I forget, like Giant X, which is an animation studio. And it's, of course, with names that begin with G and end with X, it's a very thinly, like, you know, veiled fictionalization autobiography of Gainax themselves.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's honestly really wonderful because, like, there's the main animated section, which is, you know, this guy kind of losing his life but gaining a new one and, like, gaining new friends and just becoming this creator, like, from scratch. Just these otaku, they were passionate about it, and then they started creating stuff themselves, and they just became huge for it.
But then they like blow off into space at the end, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah, they do. They it's, I mean, it's made in 1991, but then it also, like, of course, depicts, like, a dream future for them, which is in 1999, they open up Otaku Land, which is, like, this huge theme park that's all like, oh, like, I'm so glad we got to finish Otaku Land. Like, we've also got to finish our Mansons in Beverly Hills as well, and they're also, like, super happy, super rich, super successful. And then it jumps to 2035, and it's, like, post-apocalypse. Tokyo's all flooded over, the world's at war. And yeah, they just go to Otaku Land under the sea, enter the mech, become rejuvenated, and decide to go to Planet Otaku. Like, it's very, very silly, very tongue-in-cheek. Like, it's lovely. It's really cute. Yeah.
Yo, what? I never.
I mean, that's what's going to happen, you know, in history.
This is
That's how it's gonna
the
happen.
course of human events. I had never heard much about this series. I thought it was another series like the one about like the anime club or whatever. I thought it was just like a bunch of anime nerds getting together and like a slice of life thing. And I was like, that seems really weird for Gainax. This series seems weird because it's like so like realistic and down to earth. And now actually hearing that, I'm like, no, I was wrong.
It's like Gainax is known for their, you know, high-flying sci-fi, like, concepts and stuff like that. They're big mech, they're big silly like sci-fi shows, big, just like otaku themed stuff. But like Otaku No Video really sticks out as this like even odder than that in a way.
Yeah.
Like because it's this autobiography. Like it starts off normally enough. Guy gets into anime and like just finds out a passion that he never knew existed, and then it just gets a little sillier and then a little sillier and then just really, really so just like the idea that they all of his otaku friends now are in this huge company and like there's drama there and stuff like that.
Well, the other thing about Otaku No Video is that it had like live action, like a fake documentary as part of it.
Yeah, it's odd. It's really odd.
I never knew
because
this.
there's the animated bits which create their own story, but those are broken up with live action, like quote unquote interviews
that are all like with Gainax people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But, like,
it's like
their
very
faces are blurred, so you can't see them.
Yeah, faces are blurred. Almost all of them have their voices changed, and it's like a complete opposite tone to the rest of the series. Because like, well, that thing, the two episode OVA is about like these otaku getting together, becoming friends, and doing something great. The interview sections are very much like
the shame of otaku. Like,
oh yeah, it lists their name, it lists their job, how many years they spent as an otaku, and just like it's obviously scripted to be like, oh, these people are so goddamn embarrassing. Like one of my favorites is the computer programmer who like it's just like, oh yeah, I used to do that in college. I don't really much anymore.
and then he has like
and then the
Char's
interviewer
helmet in his desk.
oh yeah. The interviewer like hands him a zine, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen this in years, but it's not me." It's like, "Have you ever cosplayed?" It's like, "I've never cosplayed before." And they hand him a picture, and he's like, "No, this just I don't want to talk about it anymore." And then yeah, just grabs Char's helmet out of his desk, and he's like, "Well, as Char would say." Yeah. Like they're all very tongue in cheek, very like silly, like weird ways. Just like from the people who kind of want to leave that life behind to the guy who sits and records all anime that airs ever, even though he has no time to watch it. He just is a collector and he sells these videos around, but he's like, I don't have time to actually watch anything I record. I just record. It's all really silly stuff like that, but like it's all Gainax people, like Gainax people doing these scripts, doing these jokey interviews, and also they put all of their love into just showing how they were all otaku, of course, before, and then they got together and they made a thing. They made Gainax, and it's funny, like you see some hints of that love show up in other series. Be it one of the otaku in the group is an airsoft gun nut. And that kind of explains why there's that big airsoft battle in FLCL, for instance.
Oh.
There's also like all of this talk about mechs and like what they love about mechs, which goes into all their mech stuff. And like just like little hints, like for instance, when the board of the company is revealed to be all of the old friends, like one by one, just older and in suits, it kind of reminds me of that time skip that happens in Gurren Lagann when suddenly you just see all the main cast around again in this new world government sort of thing. It's like just, they like to repeat their images, their fun little jokes and stuff like that. And it's a wonderful celebration of that sort of stuff, that culture.
Gainax is really good about like referencing itself in like a classy way and like maybe not classy, but just a fun way.
Fun way, for sure.
But the series I want to talk about, I haven't seen Diebuster, Gunbuster, or Otaku No Video, and I want to go to the roots of Gainax. And there's a bunch of other series that they've done that no one really talks about as like the big hits because they work for their studios on them, or
right.
There's a bunch of other stuff. But we'll really talk about like the series that really stick out as like milestones for Gainax. And as you mentioned, FLCL, Fooly Cooly was huge. And this series really...
Another, 6-episode thing.
Oh, yeah, 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And it kind of just changed the way a lot of people looked, at least on the Western front. Mm-hmm. I can't speak for Japan. They might be like, oh, that's business as usual. But for me, it changed the way I looked at anime in general because it cram pack so much like deeper meaning and metaphorical meaning and symbolism into 6 episodes. I'd never seen anything on TV come close to that.
Yeah.
Ever before. It took a lot of rewatches before I started getting it, actually. I was like, oh, this is really fun. It's a kid, and he needs a crazy girl, and she says she's from space or whatever, but who cares? She's got a moped. It's fun. Scooter.
She has a left-handed Rickenbacker bass. Why?
Does she even play guitar? I don't know. And then the action and the animation is so wild and crazy. I've never seen techniques like that before. And when you actually sit down and break down the series, which we can, but it's,
it would take us like 4 hours.
Right.
I don't know. I honestly think it's like one of Gainax's easier series to digest. Like, I mean, I definitely watched it when I was a teenager and was like, oh, like, it's so random. Oh, there's stuff happening, and whoa, it's silly.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's great. Like, all the imagery is consistent with it's very out there, but it's all coming of age stuff. It's all hitting puberty. It's all finding new interests. It's all just moving on from being a kid to starting to become a young man sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it was you or someone else I know said this recently, and it actually clarifies, like, people still struggling with the symbolism being like, FLCL didn't mean shit, like, whatever. If you...
Yeah, I mean, it didn't mean shit if you were watching it while you were, like, stoned on Adult Swim at 2 a.m.
Right. But people are still struggling to grasp it. What I've heard is if you actually watch it without... If you just listen to the words they're saying, which you get the dub for, but if you just listen to what they're talking about, it actually... The situations they're in are like situations of puberty, and the visuals extend that and make it into something bizarre. So, like, for example, when he's realizing he has a growth on his forehead, if you listen to it without visuals, it sounds like he's talking about you got a boner.
Right.
Like, the whole episode is basically like that's a metaphor for like just getting your first boner. And there's a lot of like really neat stuff tucked away into the series, but also things that indicated their inspirations from all over. I think it's like the 5th episode, and they briefly cut away to like a South Park style animation frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was like a big precursor for what Panning and Stocking would become, which is just a huge tribute to like Western cartoons.
Yeah. I love Panning and Stocking.
Panning and Stocking is nuts. But the reason it's nuts is because it's all like Western influence in there. That's because Gainax actually goes out and watches what other countries are doing.
Shocking.
Yeah. You'd think that, we're watching their stuff, they're watching ours too.
Right.
So that little scene was like, oh wow, like they actually, like they're watching our stuff too and they like it too. But it's really cool just looking back at the series. Other than like jam-packed visuals, the soundtrack still is really great.
Oh, still great.
The Pillows, I don't know if they've done any other albums since then, but...
They have. They're still a really good big band.
Okay. All I know is I can listen to the FLCL soundtrack forever because it's just fun songs that just make you feel like you're a teen again. So it was a perfect piece for the time period. Apparently what I've read is that they had a lot of trouble localizing it because there's a lot of like Japanese pop culture references that they had to like adjust for America. Like changing the name of a famous soft drink, Cheerio in Japan, turned into Crystal Pepsi in America.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not relevant at all now.
No. I don't even know if it was relevant when FLCL came out.
Yeah.
That was like super 80s.
Yeah, they needed something, but it's just really, it was just the indication that this studio would do really great things other than the serious soul-crushing Evangelion. They would do things that are more wild fun and tell really strong stories with really strong symbolism. So
yeah, it's ambitious in scope in like a different way, which is like, I'm sure a lot of people just like, I'm still surprised when I watch episodes of it. Like every single episode has just so many bits that are just so visually inventive and just like they explode on screen. Like, God, I'll never forget the manga sequence.
Yes.
Like all those manga sequences are just like amazing. And like every time it cuts to just a different animation style or just like some wildly ambitious thing, like it looks amazing. Like as much as the symbolism, like you can unpack that this way or that way, and like you can have a straight line for that. Like it's still like it always looks crazier than I remember it being, which is great.
It's a visual treat.
Yeah.
It's just really a feast for the eyes. So I really enjoyed that series, and that was the reason I was like, I have to keep watching Gainax stuff. Whatever they're putting out next, I'm watching. And then Gurren Lagann happened. Tengen Toppa.
Certainly did.
It's that was the series for me in high school. That I have so much attachment to the messages that show conveyed.
Yeah.
I think it's much more rewarding if you're a mecha fan, if you have a long history of watching various other studios like doing mecha series and how they pay tribute to all of them in their own way. And then it just turns into just this big inspirational message of like humanity can do anything.
Yeah.
We can break through the universe and fix it later. It's just it just gets me right there,
Yeah.
in my husk of a heart. Yeah. So I could talk a lot about Gurren Lagann, but I think we've covered a lot of some of the
Gainax.
series that people may not have seen of Gainax.
Yeah. And I think this is true of a lot of studios where it's like you probably know one or two things that any given studio has done.
Yeah.
Go back and watch other stuff.
Check out the other stuff the studio puts out.
Yeah.
They have other directors, writers take at the forefront, and sometimes they really innovate. Sometimes they put the same shit out every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just depends. It's worth checking out.
So, I think that about wraps it up for that roundtable. It was a good talk. It was good. Interesting.
Good talk.
So before we move into our very, very brief convention coverage, if you are heading to a convention, you probably need supplies, and you can get those supplies from Amazon.
Yes.
And you can shop on Amazon while helping our show by going to mouthfuloftoast/Amazon. It takes you to the Amazon main page. You shop as normal. We get a cut. Very, very easy.
Very simple.
I know a couple of people. We've had a couple people use the link so far, so thank you to whoever's been doing that. Again, that helps us pay for things like hosting and software and giant inflatable toast beds.
Yes.
Yes. I hope those are coming in soon.
As soon as we get one, then we'll start giving them away. But
Yes. But we need one first. All right, so convention coverage. I'm going to start off because I had a friend, my dear old friend Robbie, who I met at my very first Otakon back in 2002, who I now work with at my internship, which is funny. So he sent me a couple of his favorite con horror stories. Now, these are brief. So he said there was a convention, it was either Katsucon or Anime USA, where the convention was double booked with a youth soccer tournament.
Ooh.
Now, kids were shoving and kicking balls at the con goers, the drunk dads were making passes at the scantily clad cosplayers, and the mothers were encouraging the behavior. And it finally hit the breaking point on Saturday at the convention when a fight broke out in the lobby and a few people were arrested.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Which goes right into his next story, which was Otakon, maybe 2010. He was hanging out on the 200 level and he heard shouting, looked over just in time to watch two security staffers and Baltimore Convention Center security tackle a guy. Turns out he was dealing drugs at the rave, and he stuck around to watch the police arrive, search the guy, and take him out in cuffs.
Wow.
Ooh, jeez.
I mean, I'm not too surprised, Baltimore area, but
No, I see heroin zombies on my way to work almost every single day.
which is
If you haven't been to thatguysonheroin.com, that's like my favorite website.
oh no.
Because now the guy who runs the website, which is like, pictures of people who are like doing the zombie lean and stuff like that, and all the proceeds that this guy makes off of like stupid t-shirts and stuff like that go towards rehab programs. So
Hey, that's
Okay.
not bad.
you don't
That's not bad.
have to feel like an asshole by visiting a website.
By link site.
I feel a little like, oh man,
It's weird.
It's weird, but like at the
struggling.
same
But
time,
hey.
like it is sort of bringing awareness to the incredible heroin problem that Baltimore has.
That is a good segue into talking about the best anime of all time, The Wire.
The Wire. The Wire
Yeah.
is my favorite anime.
The Wire is so anime, okay? All
oh
right.
my god, Ian.
What?
We were gonna save this for
I
the
mean,
April
if you
Fool's
watch
show.
it,
We're gonna talk about
The
all our favorite
Wire.
anime, like
Yeah.
CSI.
Like The Wire.
Law and Order.
Guys, no, that doesn't even compare. I'm talking about The Wire.
Yeah, okay.
I'm talking about Detective Bunk Moreland going, that shit's kawaii.
We watched a very different show.
Robbie's last con horror story, Katsucon 2009. It was in 2 hotels in the winter and the snow. Both hotels were doing renovations. What made it worse was that the artist alley and dealer's room were in one hotel, all the programming was in the other, so almost everyone made the frigid walk several times. Con plague hit extra hard that year.
Ooh.
So that was I think, one Katsucon I skipped entirely. So
You made a good choice.
I did.
Yeah.
Those horror stories actually weren't as terrible as I thought they'd be.
Robbie's been going to a lot of conventions. Again, I met Robbie at my very first Otakon, and I
Okay.
think it was not his first convention.
I was worried he was gonna be like, one time I rode with this guy and he stabbed me, and I had to
I'm a ghost now.
and I was like, my cosplay is relevant, but no, don't do that.
Yeah. So if you, dear listeners, have convention horror stories or good convention stories, any convention stories, please send them to us through
Facebook.
Let's go Facebook.
Twitter, Twit longer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I do wonder if the people who were arrested were Sasuke cosplayers.
Oh.
Because I feel like there's that compilation post of just Sasuke cosplayers just getting arrested all the time.
They're the bad boy of the series.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's why everyone loves them. Gotta get.
It's like whenever someone's arrested at a convention, it's always a Sasuke cosplayer.
Gotta have that Sasuke.
all right. So other conventions that are happening. I mean, Baltimore Comic Con's next weekend. I am probably going.
That's not.
It's not anime.
Get that out of here.
You get some of the manga distributors there. You get
Yeah,
Yen
alright,
Press.
Blah,
and
blah, blah, blah,
Viz
blah.
That shit ain't kawaii.
and Hello Kawaii.
Yeah, all right.
I believe that's also... We're done.
We're offended.
It's not Japanese enough.
I did also want to mention we do have an email address too, if you want to.
Yeah. Contact at mouthfultoast.com.
Yeah, I have one too. It's tim@mouthfultoast.com. There's a Carrie at mouthfultoast.com. I think there's an Ian. I don't think there's an Ian one actually.
I don't think there is
Don't
one.
email Ian.
Buy more things on the Amazon so we can have an Ian at Mouthful.
It's the only way we can
For
afford it.
him to not use.
So we also not only do we take story submissions, if you want to share a positive or terrifying story, cosplay photos. We like
Yes.
to get con reports and cosplay photos up on the site, and we can't be everywhere at once. So if you
We're
have
really only in Baltimore.
yeah, we travel a little bit around, but
NDC.
Oh,
NDC.
yeah.
NDC, yeah.
Carrie's not a fan.
Actually, I like DC a lot.
Okay.
I'm just ragging on Ian.
But yeah, we're gonna definitely, if you do get photos, take photos and send them to us. We are going to feature those good ones on the site. And Carrie, you had a friend
Yeah.
who went to a convention, right?
He went to Otakuthon, which was in Canada last weekend.
Sounds like it.
So,
Sure.
yeah, he's going to a lot of different conventions. He's going to Nandesukan. He's going to a couple others that none of us are going to. I know he listens to the show. So, Rob, if you got those pictures to me, that'd be really cool. Because then we'll put them on the website, and then you can be like, I'm official photographer for Mouthful of Toast. Blah blah blah.
Hey Rob, here's your hint.
Yeah.
Send the pictures. We weren't being subtle enough.
We're gonna get a Rob at mouthfuloftoast.com before they get an email address. Yeah.
And Lindsay too.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
everyone's
Yeah.
gonna be in.
So, and also this weekend is Dragon Con, which is not really an anime convention.
It's just a huge convention.
It's just a massive fucking pop culture sci-fi ridiculousness convention.
It's bigger than Otakon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
And it's
is. I think
4
it
days.
is.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
That is too much
Yeah.
anime.
That's too much of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Ah.
So, I don't know. My
But yeah,
next.
that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you are close to there and want to go to a convention, check that out, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you haven't heard of it by now, and
I'm
you're into
shocked.
anime, it's like I don't know what to tell you. But,
And then we've got Anime USA. You will not be going, Tim.
no. Why'd you have to remind me on air?
I might be going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds like both of them are going without me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I going? What?
You're going to Anime USA.
You
Am
live
I?
in DC. It's in DC.
You literally just
This is
walked
news
there.
to me.
It's by the zoo.
Yeah. You can go see the pandas.
You're already living in the zoo, you filthy animal.
No!
No.
Ugh, I've been
All
wrecked.
Carrie will be an Anime USA.
I will be there.
Maybe.
I'm
We'll see.
working
We'll
on a
see.
costume for it, so I better be going.
I can't speak for any of the hosts, but that's in October. We'll
Yeah,
talk more
we'll
about
get to
later.
that. So anyway,
But let us know if there's other cons you want us to talk about or you have interesting, just drop us a line.
Yeah.
We have lots of ways to contact us. And we also have a trailer.
one trailer.
Tale of the Princess Kaguya.
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 Okay.
You baka gaijin. God damn it. How many times has Tim mispronounced a Japanese word on this show?
This is number one.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Maybe number two.
All right.
It's like 20 times.
So Taylor Princess Kaguya, more Studio Ghibli. Definitely watch the trailer. So it is coming out pretty quick. It's coming out October 17th
There you
in
go.
America. So maybe that'll be a good team building exercise for us where we can all go and
Yeah.
watch and do the
Yay.
official review.
Oh,
So
boy.
it looks very different from any other Ghibli project. It looks
Yeah.
like calligraphy,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So I'm excited.
It should be really good. So, yeah, like we said, send us stuff, send us feedback, talk with us. We like talking, obviously.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We should mention our personal Twitters, I think, again, I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 So, Ian?
Yeah, okay. Well, you can follow me at, tggp.tumblr.com if you want to follow me on Tumblr, and at Ian is sober, Y-E-N is sober on Twitter. Feel free to talk to me. I like to talk about anime a lot. And feel free to not talk to me if you don't want to talk about anime, because what else is there to talk about?
Right.
Yeah, you can follow me on Tumblr at supitscarrie.tumblr.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at carriewood34 because I am very boring with my Twitter handle. I will talk about anime, but if you follow me, brace yourself for a lot of baseball talk because it's about a 50-50 split between anime and video games and then baseball.
How long is baseball season?
162 games.
When's the last
Jesus
game
Christ.
of the season?
Well, the Nationals, my team, they're going to the playoffs for sure. So they're not going to be done until October.
So after October, follow Carrie on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
After the Nationals win the World Series, follow
Yeah.
me on Twitter and
Yeah,
then
okay.
brace yourself for hockey talk.
oh,
So what, oh, jeez.
it never ends.
Oh, jeez.
It's not.
And I'm Skeleton on Tumblr, and I am KHoldShift on Twitter, which is an old name. It displays a skeleton, and you'll see an icon of me as Sanji, cosplaying Sanji from One Piece with just a very exasperated face. So that, if you find that icon,
It's like your default face.
I am Sanji.
It really
basically.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you find Sanji, chances are it's me.
Also.
My blog title is Sanji Need Lady.
Yep.
So just find me on there, and
You can also follow the show on Twitter
yes,
at Mouthful of Toast.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You can
And-
follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Mouthful of Toast. And don't forget, we are part of the Nerdpocalypse Network. We do have many other shows.
Video games.
Video games, listen to Dense Pixels. They had a really good episode this week, really funny. We recorded the main show, Nerdpocalypse, last night. Very funny episode. It's called Why'd It Have to Be Snakes? Brace yourself for disgusting snake talk.
And spiders is what I heard.
Yes, spiders and snakes.
But very funny.
Yeah, they recorded a new episode of No Time to Bleed, which is the periodical action movie podcast. That was pretty good. God, what else?
Black and Black.
Black and Black Cinema. They just did Purple Rain.
Oh,
So
Man.
I am excited to listen to that. So
and Love School for Nerds, I think, happens. At
yes, they Love School for Nerds. Very easy to digest. Their episodes were only about 20 minutes or so. So
We know a few of you otaku might need a little advice.
yes, if
so-
you,
Oh wow, rude.
especially Ian. No.
They were talking about me, guys. Don't worry about it.
if you are so
worry about it.
Ronri, definitely,
Oh jeez.
definitely listen to Love School for Nerds because that's what those guys are there for. And yeah, I think that's about it for us.
So yeah, I think we're done here.
Yeah,
Just hit
well,
us up.
Don't forget bonus episode next week.
Yes, that will have a title soon and pictures and fun stuff.
Presumably all the stuff that goes along with
It'll
the
have
episode.
typical. It'll show up on iTunes as well. I think it's going to be bonus number 1 or whatever. So it's going to be different numbering because we're not always going to do a bonus one.
All right.
But when you get it, enjoy it, treasure it, and let us know what else you want to hear about. We got a few other plans for bonus stuff coming up soon. So keep that in mind. And I think that's it.
Yes.
Think so?
Goodness.
So, wow, that was a mouthful.
Oh, stop that.
I'm sorry, I wanted to say it. I thought we could sign off.
Of
All
toast.
right. We will see you 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.
Bye, toasters.